What is up, everybody? It is Phillip Enriquez here for the Say What You Like Sports podcast, and we're about to make our Week 6 picks here during the 2020 NFL season. But before I do that, shout out to DC for Life, who was the Week 5 winner, going 10-4, pulling it out in OT, and by OT, I mean that Tuesday night football game, where seemingly you were the only one smart enough to pick the Tennessee Titans despite the COVID over the Buffalo Bills. Seemingly, we were all tied at 9 wins, and everybody took Buffalo. But I guess we were all wrong. So, you're the winner, man. But it is time for Week 6. I'm going to make my picks. I hope to be in the driver's seat. I hope to be in first place this week. So, again, I'm going to grab the Pro Pick'em app. And again, you can download the Pro Pick'em app. Join the league. Say what you like. Make your picks with us. The password is NFL 2020. And you make your picks on here, man. Gives you the spread and everything. So let's take a look at the first game. We have the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. And Houston, we have a problem. Bill O'Brien is out. I think the Houston Texans are better than their 1-4 record, but I just don't see the win over Tennessee this weekend because I think Tennessee's a legitimate contender, and with A.J. Brown back, this team's a legitimate play-action threat. And, of course, Derrick Henry's just throwing people down. I think Tennessee's already rounding into form. Usually they're a team that gets better late in the season. They're looking very good early on in the season. Give me Tennessee over Houston. Second game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Indianapolis Colts. And Joe Burrow, man, he had a pretty tough outing against the Ravens. The Ravens defense made him look like a serious rookie, if you know what I mean. So he's got to get that arrow pointed back up. But I think Indianapolis is still a more solid team. This team goes as Phillip Rivers goes. And I can see the wily old veteran pulling it out over the young horse and Joe Burrow. So give me the Indianapolis Colts, who are favored by 8.5 points. So I think you just got to go with the Colts at that point. And then we have a team that I said last week I would not pick ever again. So I refuse to. I will not pick the Atlanta Falcons. The Minnesota Vikings are favored by 4 points. They are at Minnesota. Look, this game got Dan Quinn fired. Dan Quinn is out. Raheem Morris is in. I'm not picking the Atlanta Falcons. Give me the Minnesota Vikings over the Falcons. And then we have an NFC East matchup. We have the Washington football team at the New York Giants. And this is just a game that Daniel Jones needs to win, especially without Saquon. He needs to prove that he is that legitimate franchise quarterback, Danny Dimes, that he's deserving of the nickname, and he's going to, be the man in New York. This is a game he should win against an NFC East opponent like the Washington football team. Right now, the Washington football team isn't even sure who their quarterback is. They benched Haskins. Kyle Allen was playing. He got injured or something. They pulled him, and it was Alex Smith. So Danny Dimes, if you want to be Danny Dimes, you win this game. The New York Giants are actually favored in this game by 3.5 points. That's a bit surprising to me. But I think Vegas knows what they're doing. So I think I'm going to go with the New York Giants over the Washington football team. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Philadelphia Eagles. Baltimore is favored by 6.5 points. And I will say this for the Eagles and Eagles fans out there, if you're listening, I think the Eagles are playing a lot better than they were the first couple of games of the season. I think Wentz looked better last week, and I expect the Eagles to keep playing better as they get healthier. I think this is potentially a dangerous game for the Ravens because it seemed like last week when I watched that Ravens game, they were getting away from their identity. The Ravens have always been a run-first team, and it seems like they're starting to rely on the arm of Lamar Jackson. And I just wonder if it's because they're getting him ready for his shootout with Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. I don't know. I just think if the Ravens are focused like they should be, and they do have a great coach in Harbaugh, they should be able to beat this Eagles team, but it is a dangerous matchup still. I'm going to have to go with Baltimore over the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we have the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. What a matchup in the AFC North, man. What a matchup. I mean, Cleveland is 4-1 for the first freaking time since 1994, man. Where were you in 94? Because the Cleveland Browns are back in 94 at 4-1. Big matchup. Two talented defenses, stacked with talent. But in the end, Baker Mayfield, they say he had a little bit of a rib injury, and maybe that's why he's not looking so well as far as a passer goes the last couple weeks. But I don't know. In the end, give me Big Ben over Baker. I'll take the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Cleveland Browns. Pittsburgh is favored by 4. Then you have the Chicago Bears at the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are favored in this game by 3 points. So, hey, time to give it up to Matt Rule. A lot of people didn't like the new coaching hire, but he's got this team at 2-2, I believe. They're competitive, even without Christian McCaffrey. So that's saying something. You lose the biggest weapon, not just on the Carolina Panthers, but arguably in the league, and definitely at the running back position. And Teddy Bridgewater looks like he's worth all that money. The Bears, you know what, though? They still have a tough defense. They're still a tough team. They still got Khalil Mack, you know what I mean? And he's still a hell of a player. I think this one's tough. I think this is a big test for Teddy Bridgewater to really prove if he's a little bit better than all right. But you know what? I think he's going to fall short. I think that the Chicago Bears, they're just a little bit more consistent of a team, and a little bit more talented all the way around on both sides of the ball. So I'm going to say give me the Bears over the Carolina Panthers. Then we have the Detroit Lions at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Detroit Lions are favored by 2.5 points. And the Lions, we didn't get to see them last week. Minshew kind of struggled last week. He's going to be facing a man defense, but it is time for Matt Patricia to win now. I think the pressure's on Matt Patricia now. And you start by beating a team you're supposed to beat, like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me Stafford over Minshew. Give me Detroit over Jacksonville. Detroit, like I said, is favored by 2.5 points. Then we have the Denver Broncos at the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are favored by 10.5 points. And, this Denver quarterback situation, man, it ain't good. It ain't good at all, man. It's if you're a Denver Broncos fan, I'm sure you're not laughing with me. I'm really interested in how well Cam Newton's going to bounce back after the COVID. He looks like he's working his way into the Patriot way, and I'm interested to see what that dynamic is between Bill Belichick and Cam Newton. And, I'm really interested to how he's played. I don't see a way that Denver can win this game. I just don't. Too many injuries, just bad quarterback play, and Bill Belichick's going to school you every time. Give me the New England Patriots. We have the lowly New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are actually favored by 9 points. Wow, it's a pretty wide margin. Fitzmagic, he's going to keep holding off Tua, keeping Tua on that bench as long as he can. I told you he was going to do it against San Francisco. He was ready for a big game. And you know what? I think now Fitzmagic is going to make Adam Gase disappear, because give me the Miami Dolphins to beat the New York Jets this weekend. Then we have the Green Bay Packers at the Tampa Bay Bucks. Green Bay is favored by a point. This should be a good game. It should be a really good game. I think Tampa Bay has a legitimate shot here. They can, as long as Tom Brady can consistently make the down the field throws that's required of him in that offense, they should hang in there. But again, that really wasn't always Brady's thing in New England. I think he's going to get better and better, and the offense will get better and better as this season goes on. But right now, Green Bay, with Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, they look like they're in sync. They look like they're a well-oiled offense. So in the end, give me Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. Green Bay Packers over the Tampa Bay Bucks. Then we have the LA Rams, favored by 2.5 points over the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think the San Francisco 49ers have won a game at home. In fact, I think they've only beat the Jets and the Giants, right? So, lots of injuries. I don't really want to, take a dump on the San Francisco 49ers, because like the Cowboys and like the Denver Broncos, like so many injuries that this is not the real team that you thought you were coming into 2020 with. But you got to go to war with the soldiers you got. And you know what? I think the Rams offense is another well-oiled machine. They're back on top. They look good. Give me the Rams over the San Francisco 49ers. Then we have the Monday night football games. The first game we have, Kansas City Chiefs favored by 2.5 points over the Buffalo Bills. Now this matchup could have been a battle of undefeateds, but both teams took the L last week. You know what? Josh Allen looked like he was coming back down to earth. But what's really concerning me for this game, because I watched these two teams play, I noticed primarily in the last few years, last few seasons, the Buffalo Bills had been a more defensive-oriented team, where the defense led the offense. Now it's the other way around. The offense is leading the defense. So Josh Allen is going to have to win a shootout with Patrick Mahomes because that Buffalo defense isn't quite playing at the level it was last year. And you know who I'm going to take when it's a shootout. Give me Patrick Mahomes. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. And then we have the final game of the week, the big game of the week. We have the Arizona Cardinals, 1.5 point favorites over my Dallas Cowboys. This is a very interesting game because you look at these two teams, and one of these teams is I really feel like it's this game could be the deciding factor where who's going to go forward and try to compete in the NFC and who's going to take that step back. You know, you look at the Arizona Cardinals, and I believe their victories are against the 49ers, the Lions, and the Jets. So not any great teams there. You know, every team's an NFL team. Every win is a win. But, you know, just trying to look at the quality of wins, the impressive wins. And then you look at the Cowboys, and their 3 losses are to Seattle, a powerhouse, the LA Rams, another powerhouse, and the Cleveland Browns are 4-1 since the first time since 1994. So, you know, those 3 losses are to some pretty damn good teams. Now, you know, the big elephant in the room is how is Andy Dalton going to step up for the Cowboys in the offense? And you know what? I think in some ways, Cowboys fans, Andy Dalton can be a small upgrade in some ways. Like, for instance, the deep passing game. You saw the connection with him and Gallup. I think we can see a lot more of that, and that could be a good thing. Now, where you're not going to get what you got out of the quarterback position with Dak Prescott as your starter is just the command, the knowledge of that offense. I think some of the physicality, some of the athleticism. But Andy Dalton as a passer, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be losing that much. You know, he's the red rifle. He had Cincinnati in the playoffs, 5-6 times? I mean, he didn't do too well in the playoffs, but this is still the regular season, you know what I mean? Also, I think Andy Dalton gets rid of the ball pretty quick. You know, this Dallas Cowboys offensive line is having its struggles. But you know what? There's not a lot of good offensive lines in the league right now. So I think he's going to do what he has to do. I am more afraid of the other side of the ball on the defense because you have Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, and to me, that's a connection that can be like an atomic bomb going off. You know what I mean? And the Cowboys defense has to play good enough to not let that bomb go off. Because these two players, I mean, in one play, that's 6 points to the house because they're explosive. You know, these defensive ends, Everson Griffin's been struggling with this, keeping contained. You let Kyler Murray get outside, could be 30 yards right there. You know? Hey, the DBs fall asleep, don't know their assignments. Hey, that could be 40 yards to DeAndre Hopkins. That's the potential of this Arizona offense. So again, I just hope this defense can play mistake-free. I'm not expecting them to be great. I know what I've seen for the first few weeks of this season. It hasn't been good for the Cowboys. But just eliminate the big mistakes, and I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win if they can do that. So give me the Dallas Cowboys over the Arizona Cardinals in Week 6. Maybe I'm kind of picking with my heart there. I don't know. It should be a really good game, honestly. Should be a good game. I look forward to talking about the game after it's done, you know, reviewing my thoughts and, you know, talking with you guys about the game. But those are my Week 6 picks here for the Say What You Like Sports podcast. Again, sub up, subscribe, leave a comment, give me your picks. You know, let's have some fun here for this 2020 NFL season. Peace out, everybody.